Hey guys, how's everybody doing? Tutagamon here. Welcome to another one of my benchmarking videos. In this video I'm going to benchmark Homefront The Revolution on a single Radeon 7950, a benchmark that was missing from my 7950 database, and since I have it installed right now, I thought I make one more video on it. This video is recorded on an external recorder as always, so what you will see in this video will be pure performance. The Core i7-860 is overclocked to 4 GHz. Okay. The system has 12 GB of memory, and the graphics card is a single Radeon 7950, a Gigabyte, a Windforce 3 model, latest Crimson installed, and it is also overclocked in order to reach 1.1 GHz for the core clock. Now for this benchmark I'm going to use fraps to collect frame rate data. We will see the basic result in this file and some analysis and a comparison with the 970 run with flat at the end of the video. So let's launch the game and let's see how this old video card can cope with a somewhat newer game. Options first. The background forgot to load. There it is. Graphics 1080p resolution, sub-pixel morphological anti-aliasing, no vertical sync. What the hell? And system spec, which is essentially the graphics preset at very high. This is a usual max setting for CryEngine 3 games, and this is what very high means for this game. Okay, so let me load my benchmarking location. Normally Radeon graphics cards work quite decently with CryEngine 3, but we'll see how it fares here.
We need more guys like you.
Okay, the game has loaded. Let me just
My mom saw me now. She'd probably complain about the state of my hair.
buy. Okay, so I'm not starting the benchmark just yet until I go out, and now I can start my benchmark. In my GTX 970 run there were some enemies here and a small fight took place, so I will just fool around for a few seconds in order to prolong the benchmark length. This is a problem with dynamic games. Not the same thing happens all the time, and they can be real tricky to benchmark. For example, this guy never showed his face in all my previous runs, and yet he decided to show up now out of the blue.
Trespassing civilians trying to evade peacekeeper detective will be shot.
Brady, we have reports that the KPA are using this pharmaceutical building as a weapons storage location. Head on over and see what you can find.
나가는 차량 10분. 차량 검사팀은 최종 점검하여 출구 장교에게 OK 코드를 보고하라.
저기다! 교전! 저기 진입한다! 사상자들이 좀 많죠! 사상자 발생! 사상자 발생! 더 안전한 은폐물이 필요하다! 도전!
$5. This guy was really rich.
You're making some serious moves. Taking everything.
Looks like our intel was accurate.
Just say
Those
the
You are
weapons will be
coming with
very
me.
useful. I'll make sure they're distributed
coming
amongst
with
our
me.
people. Nice find, Brady.
You are coming
Got
with
it.
me as well.
Come in, Philly Alpha. What's going on? I'm hearing buzz that a truck was seen entering Lombard. Had a big escort helicopter to work. Could be it was Walker. We'll look into it. All right. I'll tell Parrish. Keep me posted.
나가는 차량 10분. 차량 검사팀은 최종 점검하여 출구 장교에게 OK 코드를 보고하라.
Ned! Anyone! This is Andy! Nork's got us surrounded! We need immediate...
Brady, we tracked Andy's message and you're closest. Marking the transmission source on your phone. Get over there. See if you can help. I'll send support as soon as I can.
Gotta push to the next area. Awesome that we took this one back, but there's still a shitload.
Fuck! Where are they?
That last patrol got real. Fucking. So good to finally get control of this area.
Well, it's not very easy to aim these guys with low frame rate for insta kills, but overall it plays nicely. I'm pretty sure the stupid car waited for me to pass by it and explode. The fuck is going on? Hello.
Saw Walker. We tried. They win.
Okay, this is the end of the benchmark. So, frame rate at 41 frames per second, quite decent performance, not stellar of course, but still quite manageable. Frame rate and frame time graphs in MS Afterburner are quite decent, although the frame times do seem to be a little more delayed, I think. At some points we do have these small spikes as well in the frame times. GPU usage is maxed out, no CPU limit here of course. The 7950 does have a little problem to run this game, but it is not doing too bad at least. CPU usage is low, which was to be expected for this video card. CPU temps are good, expected due to the low CPU load. GPU temps are okay. RAM usage at 5.1 gigabytes. .1 gigahertz for the core clock of the video card and 2.8 gigabytes of video RAM usage, very close to being maxed out for the GTX 970. So I think I have quite some data on this very system. First of all, I'm going to open my current run, the 7951. After that we have the GTX 1070 with the i7-860, which did have some CPU limits, but still it would be nice to see the comparison. Not a fair one of course. And lastly I have my GTX 970 run on this very system again, which was my last run, this one, at 63 frames per second for the 970, 88 frames per second for the 1070, and 41 frames per second for the poor 7950. Let me make this red graph, let me make this blue, and make this a black one, and we are good to go. Of course we did have some different lengths in these runs. I told you that the game is quite dynamic and you cannot really do exactly the same things all the time, but still the performance difference is undisputed throughout the run. In any case, let's focus for the 7950 right now. I'm going to zoom into the 60 milliseconds threshold, and yes, we can see that we do have some stuttering in the frame times, but overall they are okay, except these big spikes here and there. I'm not sure why these occur, and some of them are actually lower millisecond spikes. They are dips in the milliseconds rendering, so there is a little weirdness going on, but overall the frame times are decent. We do have some variability and the stuttering is a little above 1 millisecond. It was worse on the GTX 1070 with this processor, of course, and the best was for the 970. Different hardware can produce different data, of course. Now, unfortunately, for the 16.7 milliseconds threshold, all of the frame times are above it, so we are far away from having a 40 frames per second, 60 frames per second experience. But if we go to 33.3 milliseconds, we can see that all of the frame times are above that. So at least we have a better than console quality frame rate and frame times. The histogram shows exactly that. We do have a lot of these frame times hovering at 23, 24 through to 28 milliseconds, a little below 30 milliseconds, which gives us the 41 frames per second with a comparable at 36. Let's not forget that. So let's go to the comparison of the frame times now. The black is for the 1070 with the 860. Don't forget that the 1070 with the 2500K did even better, but for now I'm comparing everything with the 860. The 7950, of course, is way above both the GTX 970 and the 1070. Above means slower frame times, so less performance. The frame rate is also in a completely different world for both the 970 and the 1070. Very different runs. Min, max and averages. I did have a huge spike, a huge dip on the 1070, which gave me a very low minimum, but we can safely disregard this. It has to do with accessing data outside the memory pool for some reason, and it got delayed. That's why I tell you guys, do not pay attention for the minimums. They can produce some weird results sometimes, and this is a very good example actually, because we have a hugely better performance experience on the 1070, but still the minimum was terrible. That is only 1 second, less than 1 second. It does not matter for the vast majority of the run. The 7950, however, did a decent job, exactly where it was supposed to be, and let me do some calculations here, very basic calculations. divided by 41, we have a 54% better performance for the 970, which is a performance delta that I have seen a lot between the 970 and the 7950. I have seen lately some huge performance deltas for these two graphics cards. Mass Effect Andromeda was around 70% faster for the 970, and Flatout 4 was whooping 100% faster than the 7950. So at least CryEngine 3 seems to have a reasonable performance delta for the 7950 at least. Now, variability similar for all runs, a little higher for the 7950. The stuttering surprisingly was way higher for the 1070. I think it did not operate very well with the 860 in this game, and possibly some other thing affected it. The 7950 and the 970 are closer as far as stuttering goes, and let's see the percentiles, which should be interesting. We can see the 1070, although it had a terrible minimum result, the percentile of course are in a different world compared to both the 970 and the 7950. There is no comparison at all. You can see at how low milliseconds the 1070 is rendering. The 970 also is in a very good place, but the 7950 unfortunately has gone way up above the 16.7 milliseconds threshold for all the run. So we are looking at subpar performance, but of course the good thing is that we are at very high preset with some clever tuning of the graphic settings. We can have a much better experience. And let's close this video by looking at the comparable frame rates. We can see how different the comparable is for the 1070 due to the stuttering that was recorded during its benchmark. It gets weirdly close to the 970 of course, due to the huge stuttering and the bigger variability, but I'm pretty sure all this has to do with the platform. With a better CPU, the 1070 would be a lot better. Actually, we did see that it was a lot better on the 2500K run, but overall still great performance for both the 1070 and the 970, and the 7950 did what it could for its age. It is actually pretty decent, trust me. I have seen graphics cards going down the drain a lot quicker than the 7950. This concludes this video, my friends. Thank you very much for watching. Stay tuned for more.